Good evening, gang. Ryan Stevens here. We're in Chester, Maine on this late June evening. Going to talk a little bit about bear trapping tonight in general, and also talk about a specific kind of trap. Introduce you to that we've used the last couple of seasons, and share with you a bit about that. So this isn't going to be an all-inclusive video on how to trap bear, but I'm going to share with you just a few little tidbits that I think may help those of you who are trying to or wish to dip your toes into the waters of Maine bear trapping. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is choosing a site. Okay, so I'm going to make the assumption that most of you watching this video have either hunted with hounds in the past, or you have ran a bait site yourself. Okay, so you've got your bait site and you're picking a tree, you're selecting a tree that you're going to use as an anchor point for your trap. State says that this tree needs to be at least 6 inches in diameter at 4.5 feet off the ground. Okay, I'm 6 feet or so, so that's going to be about chest high. I'm looking for a tree that's going to be at least 6 inches in diameter. Okay, once you've selected that tree, you need to make sure that branches and debris are all cleared off the side of that tree up to 7 feet. Okay, so just go at least 7 feet, clear all the branches off. Okay, you also need to clear what we call the catch circle around that tree or that anchor point. The catch circle is technically your anchor point, okay, which is the tree, to your loop. Okay, the end of your loop. Okay, state says that needs to be kept under 8 feet, or a maximum of 8 feet. Okay, catch circle, and whatever that catch circle is needs to be cleared of debris around the tree. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Okay, even if, like myself, I go way less than 8 feet. Okay, we're working with about 4 feet right there on what I like. You want to clear that of debris. I don't want anything that bear is going to get hung up on to be present at game time. Okay, when things get rocking and rolling. So again, so you've selected your tree, you've cleared all the branches up to 7 feet, at least 7 feet. You've cleared your catch circle. Okay, again, of a maximum of 8 feet. But do yourself a favor and clear at least that. Clear at least 8 feet around there. But again, your catch circle needs to be 8 feet max. Okay. So once you've set that up, okay, so you're ready for a trap. Okay. Again, the trap that I personally use is Chris Hill's Maine Bear Snare. We have a number of options here in Maine for legal traps to use, and I'll tell you this, there's a number of great options out there. Okay, this just happens to be the one that we've used the last couple of years and have come to enjoy. 3 main parts to this trap. Okay, you've got your main pipe, okay, with 4 grooves on the top, okay, with a slotted base. Okay, now the next part is your trigger. Okay, and I'll show you how that works here in a moment. And then you've got your snare cable. Okay, so you're gonna, first of all, after you've selected your tree, you're going to dig a hole as close as possible to the base of that tree. Don't make the mistake of digging that hole 2 or 3 feet out away from the tree. There's reasons for that. Okay, but we can maybe talk about that at another time. But the long and the short of it is, you don't want your bear working this pipe, working around it. Okay, you want to give a solid base that this pipe's going to be up almost right snug up against it. Okay, so you're going to dig your hole right next to the base of that tree that you selected, and that hole needs to be deep enough so this pipe is going to go all the way down. All this is going to be underground right up to the very base of these slots or grooves here, we'll say. Okay, so you've got your pipe buried all the way to the base of these grooves. Okay, your trigger is going to simply slide down into these grooves. Okay, and it doesn't matter how that goes in, as long as those 4 arms, okay, will all rest in those grooves. Okay, slides right down in there. Okay, so again, you've got your pipe buried right to the grooves, okay? The trigger resting in those grooves. And lastly, you've got your snare cable. Okay, we're going to talk about snare cables for a moment, okay? So around your tree, okay, you're going to have either cable, which a lot of folks use, or you're going to have chain, okay? I prefer a heavy chain. I like that because there's not a lot of friction going on there. When that things get rocking and rolling and the bear's moving around, or just when you want to adjust it yourself, it's very easy to slide heavy chain around the base of a tree. So you've got your chain around the tree. This is again what I prefer: chain, heavy chain. State says that you need to use at least one swivel between your snare cable and your chain or cable going around the tree. I like 2 swivels, okay? I've got one heavy duty swivel here. I've got a very short section of chain, and then I've got another swivel going to my snare cable, okay? What that allows is basically a less chance that things are gonna get bound up. I've got all kinds of video footage of bears rolling on the ground, doing barrel rolls after things came tight. This chain and this cable is going to have a tremendous amount of tension on it, and you don't want anything binding up there when things get twisting. So again, I like 2 swivels there, even though the state says you need to have 1. Okay, so again, you've got this attached to your tree with your on your chain going around the tree. Swivel, okay, swivel, short section of chain, another swivel, again my preference to have 2, and then you've got your snare cable, okay, spring-loaded snare. All snare cables here in Maine do need to have a stop on them so that they will close to no less than 2.5 inches, okay? We do set ours larger than that. I probably ran, I don't know if it was maybe 3 1/4 last year, something like that. But anyway, that stop needs to be at 2.5 inches so that when this does come tight, it'll go no tighter than a 2.5 inch diameter across that loop, and that would be about the diameter, if you hear folks say, a soda can, okay? So this gets set around here, okay, on the top. If you could zoom in a little bit, on the top of this, okay? And when you put that on here, do not just hang that at the top, okay? This snare cable needs to get shoved down so that it's resting right on top of these grooves, okay? That's gonna make this completely legal, so it's gonna be right at ground level, clearly ground level when you've dug your hole, and this trap is sitting so that these grooves are at ground level. Your snare cable's right there at ground level as well. It's not up here. Simply put it on, shove it right down so it's at ground level, okay? So again, all this is gonna be underground up to right here, okay? Now, a couple things, I'm going to talk briefly on lock placement, okay? This is the lock, okay? This is where the lock itself hits against the pipe. And that lock location, there's some different schools of thought on that, but I will say this, the designer of the trap teaches folks to keep that lock location 180 degrees from your tree, okay? So if the tree is out here, right beside the pipe, okay? Pipe's underground, right beside it. He says that lock location needs to be 180 degrees. So basically, if you're facing the tree, you've got the pipe, and then the tree, the lock's right straight in front of you, okay? That's what Chris suggests on that. I will say this, personal opinion here, but sometimes I'll study, actually I study a lot of trail camera video footage, and sometimes I will modify that a little bit. I'll have it go one way or the other a bit, the location of that lock. Again, it's all still right at the base of these grooves, but sometimes, you know, if you got your tree here and the bear is approaching from the left or the right a little bit more, sometimes I will have that maybe at 90 or at 270, something like that. It may not be at 180. Again, just personal opinion there. But reason being is that, okay, when we reach down in here, the bear's, he's been trained, he's been getting special treats in here for weeks, and it's game time. We've got the snare set up, we've got the trigger below that. Okay, bear reaches in, okay, he's maybe got a few handfuls of bait, okay, reaches in, pulls up on the trigger, boom, okay, snare comes tight, okay. Now, what you don't want is you don't want that lock positioned, okay, on top of his forearm, where he's going to reach over and possibly grab that with his teeth and take it off. Very easy to have happen, okay? You want to try to get that lock so that it's back away from it in an area where he can easily bite, okay? Again, you do the best you can. Sometimes we plan and it doesn't work out that way, and the lock ends out right where you don't want it, and you gotta hope for the best, you know. But anyway, that's my personal take on that. We do try to eliminate that, try to hook him on the back of the arm where he's not going to be able to bite that as easily and slide your cable off. I should say your snare. So that's basically the mechanics of how this trap works. And I will say this, before the trapping season starts, you've got your bear coming into your bait bureau, maybe a few bears. You've decided, hey, this is a site, there's been a larger bear coming in here periodically. This is a site that I would like to try to trap one in. Get your pipe in the ground, okay? Again, bury that baby right up to the grooves, okay, right up tight against the tree. And you don't even need to use the trigger, okay? You definitely don't want to use the snare until trapping season's open, but initially, I wouldn't even worry about the trigger, okay? Just have your pipe there. Get that bear used to coming in here for special treats over time, and then you can introduce the trigger maybe after a week, okay? That trigger is not going to bother that bear at all, okay? He's reached in, the trigger goes by the wayside, and he's eating food, okay? And, you know, as you're training that bear, as we say, you know, you can put as much or as little bait in here as you'd like in getting that bear used to and preferring this pipe, okay? However, when it's snare time, okay, state law says that all bait must be below the base of this trigger, okay? So everything needs to be, if you picture this inside the pipe, okay, all bait needs to be below that trigger, okay? And trust me when I tell you that when that bear has been coming into this pipe, okay, for weeks and getting special treats, it doesn't matter if there's only an inch of bait on the bottom of there, okay? He knows that the good stuff's in this pipe, and he is gonna reach down in there, okay? And even if it's the very bottom, which it's gonna be, if it's gotta be below that trigger, okay, you're gonna have just a few inches there probably of space there to put your bait. He's gonna be after it and onto it, okay? So, again, just a few tips tonight. In general, setting a trap site up, and also giving you a little bit of experience with this trap that I have used, we've used and we've enjoyed, and happy to answer any questions that I can. I know other folks on Maine bear trapping, I'm not going to attempt to name them all. We have some new admins now, but Josh, Caleb, Joshua, Ron, Scott, folks, more than happy to answer any questions that we can. If it's you, send me a question that I don't know the answer to, I'm going to tell you that too. But if it's something I can help you with, I'm more than happy to do so. Good luck, guys, out there. I can't wait to hear your stories, and look forward to seeing pictures. Take a kid hunting, get the kids out there. Jack's 15 now, and I think he loves it more every year. He's really looking forward to bear baiting. He's told me this is his favorite hunting that we do. We do a little waterfowl hunting and stuff too. But anyway, he loves bear trapping. It's a great activity and pastime. You know, teaches kids a lot about patience and diligence, keeping after it when things slow up. But anyway, good luck to all you guys. I hope you have an awesome season. Keep them coming and reach out anytime. Thank you.